Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Discounted Opinions podcast. Today, our topic is top 10 comedies before 1990s.
Mm.
I am your host, Mark, and this is my co host, Stan.
Hello, bro. This is interesting.
Right?
This made me learn how many comedies that I just fell in love with that came after 1990.
I agree. I agree completely. And there are a few comedies that I thought were pre 90s, but it weren't.
Word. All right. Well, who's going first?
You can start us off. What's your number 10?
Okay, so this one was one of the ones that I was like, man, I don't know whether or not this one categorizes just as a freaking comedy
Okay.
because it's definitely a mystery, but
Okay.
it's a comedy. Dirty Rotten Scoundrel.
Ah! Fantastic movie. Fantastic
Fantastic
movie.
movie, but
No,
it's
it's
not
totally a
just a
comedy.
comedy. Is
It's
it just a comedy?
yeah, it's 90% jokes.
It is 90% joke. Okay, cool. So that's the aspect. If it's more joke than it is comedy. I mean,
Yeah, and that's really the defining factor here in what's a comedy and what's like an
just wait till
action
we
comedy or a mystery movie that's also a comedy. Like
just wait till
Glass
we get to the
Onion.
honorable mentions. Glass
Glass
Onion. I
Onion,
don't think I've seen it.
hilarious movie,
Don't think I've seen it.
but it's a mystery movie that's also funny and not a
So
straight
yeah.
up
So
comedy.
wait when we get to our honorable mentions. I have some questions because if I left them off this list because I was like, that's definitely like they're blurring some lines here.
All right, so my number 10 would be The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Ah, it's so great. Uh, basically, a Russian ship. Or was it a submarine? It's one of them, either a ship or a submarine. Anyways, it gets stuck off the coast of I think it's Florida, and the Russians land on the beach, and they're trying to get help, but it's in the middle of the Cold War, so everyone starts freaking out because the Russians are invading, and hilarity ensues. So good, such a classic.
It does sound interesting.
Number 9.
Number nine. Okay, my number nine is Bye Bye Birdie, starring Dick Van Dyke. It's a very, very old movie, but it is funny.
Oh shoot.
It is very funny. Used to
I
watch it with my mom a million times, but it has a lot of music in it. That's why I was like, I don't
yeah,
understand if
I
it's like a musical or comedy, but it is funny. But I think it's more musical, but it is funny.
ah
Yeah, word.
that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about whether it is at this point. Um I remember I remember that I have watched Bye Bye Birdie, but I don't remember anything about it.
All right, you're number nine.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh my God, number nine. Number
Number 9. Number
number
9.
nine.
Yes.
I had to stop myself, bro. I had to stop myself because I was like, if I let it, Eddie Murphy would take over this fucking list.
Yes. Yes.
So
It
I
was
was like,
limited to
dude,
one movie, like a lot of things on this list because there are several movies. Well, if I would have let it, this would have been a list of the top 10 Mel Brooks movies. Because Mel Brooks has a wire directly to my funny bone.
he
But
does.
let's not talk about him. Let's talk about the genius that is Eddie Murphy. Ah, these movies. So good. In fact, just to be clear, as since I don't want to put all three on, the entire series is
Yeah,
number 9.
yeah,
Entire series. Ah, so great.
yeah. They are great movies. They are hilarious. I quote those movies every day.
Yep.
Every day. People don't be knowing that I'm quoting these movies, but I quote them every day.
All right, number 8.
Ah, this is another one, but you said don't worry about the other one, Beetlejuice.
Oh, respectable. Respectable.
Be- I love Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is dope. But I was on the cusp. Of like, is it? I mean, it's not really scary, But watching it as a child, you will get confused and be like, "Oh man, this could come off as a scary movie." But you know, when you rewatch it as an adult, it is very silly from beginning to end.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's look, I'm putting that one up for Community. Community referenced it when it came to the comedy of threes.
Mm,
So comedy, 100%.
the rule of three. All right,
The
what's your
rule of
number eight?
three. Number 8 is to be or not to be. That
Mm,
is the question.
I don't think I know that movie.
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Uh, I don't think it. Hold on. Keep going. Keep going.
Uh, so it stars Mel Brooks, and basically he's the head of an acting troupe in Poland, and the Nazis invade on the opening night of their show. And so they continue being an acting troupe, and the whole time they're hiding undesirables. And the Nazis take over and they invade and they accidentally get hooked up with the underground. Meanwhile, they're just trying to survive.
Sounds crazy.
And his
Sounds.
wife is cheating on him, and her lover that comes every night to see her is out in the audience. And every time he starts his soliloquy, to be or not to be, from Hamlet, the guy gets up and he sits in like the middle of the front row every single night because he's in love with the dude's wife. So every time he starts his soliloquy, the guy gets up and excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, all the way down the line, and starts driving Mel Brooks' character insane. Great movie, so great. I
I don't
the
doubt anything he made is not great. So when
oh,
you say Mel Brooks, yeah,
it's everything he touches is gold,
gold.
gold,
Gives him some
absolute gold.
honesty at least.
It's a crime that more people haven't seen To Be or Not to Be. Because I ask people all the time, they're like, "Nope, never seen it," and I'm like,
Never seen it.
how could you?
You
All
get
right,
in the mode. You be like, I like that. I like what he's done. I'm gonna go watch everything. I don't do
well,
that.
yeah, I've seen every single movie Mel Brooks has made. Well, correction, up until the last decade, because he's mostly done like comedy. I mean, not comedies, kids movies and TV shows. And I don't know, it's a lot to keep up with. But number 7,
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
did not make my list. Is in my
Good
honorable
movie.
mentions. Oh,
Good movie.
absolutely.
It's a great movie. It's hilarious. I was like, yep, this one's got to be up there.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie. It was the mix of animation and live action that they did was just so perfect, and a callback to the first animated movies like Mary Poppins and whatnot, where they just put animation into live action. Instead, in that version, they share the same world, and yeah, it's perfect. It's a great movie,
Um, how they acted that was crazy.
right? There's so many times I think about that movie.
All right, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is The Gods Must Be Crazy.
Don't know that one either.
Bruh,
As
peak,
we all know,
peak
when
comedy.
something falls from the sky,
I
it can only
watched
have come from the
endlessly
gods.
the first and second ones, which were the only good ones. The
Of
third and
course, the
fourth
gods
one were
only send good and
knockoffs. It
useful
was made by
things.
the Chinese to spread propaganda
However, this time they made a mistake.
in the 90s. But
The
the
gods
first
must be
two
crazy.
are fantastic.
The unusual story
They
of
take
King, the
place
bushman.
in
As
the
he travels
bushlands.
to the edge of the earth
And
to discern the god's mistake.
basically, so the first movie, there's a guy flying over the plains, and he throws a Coke bottle out of his window. And
Mm.
so it flies down to the ground. It gets found by the natives. And then the natives find it to be the most useful thing in the world. And they thank the gods for giving it to them. But then they start fighting over it, which they've never had violence in their lives. And they start fighting over who gets to use it because it is so useful. Because they don't have things as hard as glass, or it's useful for making circles and whatnot. Um, so then One guy in the tribe is like, this is driving us crazy. I'm going to go return it to the gods. So then he sets off to return the bottle to the gods and starts running into civilized world, and hilarity ensues. Great movie.
Sounds fucking
In fact, we
hilarious.
should sit down and watch it because it is totally worth it. So good. Number 6.
This is another one. Like bottom five struggled because I was like, man, I don't know few of these if they're comedies or not, but the Goonies made it on this list. And that's my number 6. Shouts out to
I
Dan Ellsworth.
didn't put the Goonies on the list because I was like, I don't know if that's actually a comedy. So I didn't put it on
You
the list.
Google comedies, it's in the comments.
Yeah, but if you Google comedies, 101 Dalmatians comes up.
I mean, but there's parts that, people without a sense of humor would laugh at him. and
You're not wrong.
101 Dalmatians.
You're not wrong.
So by that, the witty comebacks, I guess, from the bad guys. You're like, oh man, that's funny. That's I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it's number 6 for me would be the Goonies.
Great movie. All right, so I'm guessing you also haven't seen my number 6, which is Arsenic and Old Lace.
No, never heard of it. No, never heard of that.
Bro, these deep cuts. So Arsenic and Old Lace is about 2 little old ladies that run an inn in their house. And it's a big house. They got a bunch of rooms. And so they have gentlemen callers that come and stay with them. And whenever they're not feeling great, they poison them and kill them and bury them in the basement.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so the through line of the film is the family curse is that everybody in the family goes crazy. So, like, the oldest son in the family is a serial killer. Not the oldest, the second oldest. The oldest thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt. He charges through the house with like a horn and guns and whatnot. And the youngest is getting married, so he comes to visit for a weekend to see them, let them know that he's getting married and whatnot. And so he's staying with them, but they also have a gentleman staying with them that they're trying to kill. And it's very much someone comes in the room and then they're doing something and they have to stop it. Like at one point they're hiding the body and the body's in the window seat. But then the serial killer brother also shows up and he brings a body as well. And so then they're passing around bodies and he's like, where did this body come from? Is this one of ours?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
it's looking up pictures of it.
Yeah. It's black and white.
Yeah, I got IMDb up on the side, and every time you say a movie I don't know, I'm just typing it in.
Ah, bro, absolutely amazing. It is. Yeah, honestly, it was hard to put it down at number 6. I love that movie.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5. Oh man, it's a great movie. You're gonna love this one.
Oh, hit me.
Weird Science.
Actually
good number 5.
This
good
is
funny.
Gary.
Good funny movie. Yeah. I'm looking at the rest. I'm looking at the rest of my list, and I'm like, man, I know you're gonna love the rest of my list. Weird Science is up here because it is funny. It's a mostly it's up here because of reactions to people who I've watched it with.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, the silly shit. If you've seen this movie, then you know for a fact. I mean, I know you have, but anyone watching this, never seen this movie, go watch this movie. This is a great movie in history.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. 5. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Bro, yes.
There were like 5 Monty Python movies. that I wanted to put on this list, but I limited myself to one. Because as I said before, it would all be Mel Brooks and Monty Python. The first 5 would be Mel Brooks, the second 5 would be Monty Python. Both of those groups just so good. Life of Brian.
Silliness.
Absolutely. But yeah, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I think, is probably the quintessential Monty Python movie. And of course, the most famous.
It is the most famous.
Not a lot of people know about the Life of Brian or shoot, my brain just went blank. Well, the rest of the movies have been forgotten.
That's crazy.
Yep.
As great as they are, I've forgotten
Right.
about all of them.
Bruh, as soon as I went to say it, gone, deleted. Someone just backspaced in my brain. All right, number 4.
Number 4 is Blazing Saddles for
Oh,
because just because I there's nothing else that needs to be said about
nope.
Blazing Saddles because it's hilarious.
Oh, yes.
The
Yes.
only reason why other movies are higher is because once I say them, you'll understand why I put them higher.
Yeah, I get it. My number
Alright, yeah,
4,
four.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Steve Martin is
Oh,
the man
ah,
who
you-
makes the misses.
You see?
Yeah.
Let me just go out. There is no real order to this list. Every 1 through 10 is a number 1 movie. If I'm being realistic,
That is the problem. That is the
That i-
problem. Like,
because mine was that Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was number 10 for me. I understand why you have it up there at number 4. It's one of the funniest movies. The remake did not do it any justice. It was horrible of a remake. I mean, okay, look. If you've never seen the original, the remake is okay.
I didn't even know there was a remake.
There is I don't want to get political, but they womanized it.
Oh yeah.
They did it with Anne Hathaway and
Okay, I remember
what's
now.
her face?
I deleted that.
The
from my
Australian
brain.
lady. The Australian lady.
You know, that is a perfect example of how a concept does not work when you swap genders. Because men tricking women out of money and into bed is difficult. Flip that
mean-
around, you bat your eyelash, you push your cleavage together, you get what you
I
want.
mean, it's not even that it was women. I mean, it didn't need to be done. It's just that those two aren't funny. Like,
I
I forget
say
her
something
name.
extremely controversial here. Most women aren't funny. I've met like 5 in my entire life, and one of them's my wife.
It's just those actors. They could have found better actors that could have did it that were female that are funny, but those wasn't the two at all. But it'll be all right. History will show which one is greater. We already know.
Yeah. No, look. Nothing will ever beat that Steve Martin performance when he was playing the retard brother.
Oh my god,
Bruh. That is one of the 4 times in my life that I have from a movie pissed
He had
myself.
a couple
laughing
more
that
movie
hard.
I wanted to put on here, but there's
Oh, yeah.
just a lot more of his other movies that I like are like 90 and above. So
Exactly.
that's the only reason why.
All right, we're
Okay.
at
Number 3. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. With Richard Pryor and I forget his name. He played in Blazing Saddles. He was the white dude in Blazing Saddles. Gene.
Together again.
Oh boy. Scout.
He was Willy Wonka.
In trouble again.
Wally, there's a gun here.
Hackman. No.
Hackman. That's
Yes.
no.
No.
Is it Hackman?
No, hold on. Bruh, I should get my.
We should know this.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder, thank you.
I knew
How?
it was Gene. I didn't remember his
How?
last name. I just didn't
How?
remember his last name. That was the problem.
How did I
His
forget
last
that?
name escaped us.
He's
Bro,
one of
I'm
my
horrible with
all-time
names. You can't count
favorites.
on me. He can't. He was. See, this movie is Richard Pryor and him
Mm-hmm.
being hilarious. Have you seen it?
Nope.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm
god,
about to.
dude! Oh my god,
I'm about to.
those two are. They just one of them can't. One of them is blind, and the other one can't hear. So that's the whole base of the movie.
That sounds great.
It is pretty funny, and that's why that's the only, and it gets for me it gets funnier as it goes up top. I'm saying though that's just a movie. I didn't want to bombard it with movies with the same actor in it, and that
Yeah,
was
I
like
did
for
the same thing.
yeah, for 1 through 4, it's pretty much that problem because they are all funny.
Bro, they made like 4 movies together.
They made a lot of movies together, bro.
Yeah.
And they are all probably
I've seen
hilarious.
Stir Crazy. All right. We're at number 3, right?
Yeah.
All right. Airplane.
Oh my god.
For the most extraordinary chain of events ever
Airplane is a
swept
good
up
one.
into
That was
high
the
adventure.
funniest movie of my entire childhood.
He was smacking that lady.
Yep. Bruh, I endlessly
That whole line of people with like bigger and
Ev-
better weapons to knock some sense into that lady. Like what the like why though?
Every single frame of that movie is hilarious. Like even stuff that's not spoken, such as when it's just going through the plane and the nun is reading a boy's life and the boy is reading a nun's life magazines, to when they're walking through the airport. Every single scene in that movie, it's fantastic.
It's nonsense, pure 100%
Pure, unadulterated nonsense. Second one was great too. I haven't seen the third one. There was a third
I
one,
haven't
right?
seen the second one. I didn't even know it was the second one.
Yeah, I know there's a second one. And I think there's a third one. I haven't seen it though. First one's the best one. There's no question there. All right. Number 2.
Number 2 is Beverly Hills Cop.
Ah! Way higher than mine.
I love those movies.
Yeah.
I love all 3 of those movies. I've seen all 3 of those movies a million times. Maybe not the last one because the last one is good. It's just not good as 1 and 2 to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still good. But
yeah, it's still good with that's the theme park, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 1 is possibly the best one. The second one is pretty good too, but number 1, oh my god. Number 1 is great. Beverly Hills Cop is just awesome, you know.
Oh, it's an amazing series.
I hope they don't even try to redo this. They don't need to.
Bro,
it's always the fear of remakes.
They're in the middle of remaking The Gods Must Be Crazy, apparently. I didn't know this until today. And that's going to be horrible. Like the entire premise of the movie.
It's making fun of people.
It's making fun of people. Which is what you can't do now. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be so bad. It's probably going to be as bad as the Willow TV series.
All right, what's your number 2?
Number 2 is Clue.
Clue. I don't think I've seen that one. Maybe I have. That's not true. Remember names escape me. I'm done when it comes to names.
It's
like I know
based off of the video game. The board game. Sorry.
Yeah, the board game.
Yeah.
Goddamn Curry.
Yeah.
Of course it's fun.
He plays the butler. Bro, that movie's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I watch it about once every 6 months.
Maybe I have.
Okay, we have to watch it then. We got to sit down and watch it together. Because it is the best slapstick comedy of all time. And I'll fight anybody that says anything different. But not to the death, just like normal fighting. We get tap out rules. All right, before we hit number 1, honorable mentions.
How many honorable mentions do we get?
How many do you have?
It's a pro. The list goes on. Let me tell you. Let's not do that. I'm gonna.
Okay, let's
Okay.
do 5.
Let's do 5. Okay. You want me to name all 5? We're gonna go back and forth. Hmm?
We can go back and forth.
Back and forth. All right. Robin Hood. Mel Brooks.
Men in Tights,
Yes.
94.
That was 94. Okay, cool. Then never
Yeah.
mind. It was 94. I swear to
It was
God,
it was
that's
either
90.
94, 95, or 96. But yes,
Let's
it's a
find out.
90s
Hold on.
movie.
It's a 90s
90s.
movie. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Then take that out. Take it. Maybe I
Yep.
was doing a whole list. Okay, take that out. Trading Places.
Trading Places. Yeah. Yeah, great movie. Great movie. My first honorable mention is
93.
Spaceballs.
Baseballs.
Spaceballs. Great
It is
movie.
funny. It is a great movie.
It
It is
is.
a great movie.
It would be on the list if I didn't stop myself from doing more Mel Brooks movies. Because I already have 2. And I was like, okay, can't do any more. Just other people need space.
All
Honorable
right.
mention.
Police Academy.
Ah. Yeah, almost made my honorable mentions.
It almost did. That's
Almost.
great.
Almost.
What's yours?
Second one would be Life of Brian.
I think I've seen that.
It's another Monty Python. It's basically a parody of Jesus Christ's life. This guy named Brian is born, and he keeps doing things, and people keep thinking he's the Messiah. And he keeps being like, I'm not! I swear! And, but at the same time, Jesus is there, doing his thing, and people keep getting them confused. Great movie. Great movie.
Word. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Was also now my next honorable mention.
Was it?
Yep.
It's a great movie.
I mean, if you haven't seen that movie, folks, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life, for real?
Not living it.
Not living it. All right. Since you did that one, well, Who Framed Roger Rabbit would be next on my list.
Ah. Okay, next on mine. This is the one I was like confused whether or not it's an action comedy or a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Big Trouble in Little China. It was hilarious all the way through.
Yes.
But it's a lot
It's
of
an
action.
action
in it.
comedy, though.
See,
Yeah.
that's why I was
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of fighting in it, but it's just hilarious. Kurt Russell makes that
Yeah.
movie very, very funny. There's another one that I was like, it's definitely not a comedy, but it's funny as fuck.
Which
And then
one?
I'll name that one next. Oh, you want me to name it now?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes,
It's
bruh.
hilarious, but it's
Bruh.
not a comedy.
It was. Okay,
That movie's a
so
little bit of a
it's
tearjerker.
kind
It's
of
like,
a comedy, but it's not. It almost was number 3. It almost
oh,
was.
was
number 3.
it?
I love.
See,
that
I left
movie.
it out because I do too. I left it out because of the fact of how serious that movie is. Even though
Yeah,
it's
that's
super funny, it's very serious. It's a very serious movie.
yes, and that is also why it's not even in my honorable mentions because I had to discount it completely because the percentage of comedy in it is probably only about 20 to 30%, but it is so funny.
It's funny. Yeah,
It
the
is
rest of the movie is
so
just pure.
funny.
It's a non-movie, so it's got to be taken serious.
Yeah. Yeah. My
But
next
that
one
was
would be
fire.
History of the World, Part 1.
Mm.
And it was great that there was never a History of the World Part 2. Because the ending of. Have you ever seen History of the World?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's just Mel Brooks doing a parody of all of history.
Mm.
Like, he'll do, like, an event, then it skips, like, a few hundred years, and then it's Moses getting the tablets from the mountains, and then it just skips again. And yeah, he's basically parroting all of human history, and it stops. Uh, where's it stop? Stops in Roman time. Uh, and then the ending to it is an ad for History of the World Part Two, which he never made.
Word, that's
And
crazy.
it's such a great joke to go out on to then never make it. Um, However, there's actually a History of the World Part 2 TV series being made right now because people have been wanting it ever since he made History of the World Part 1.
What? Let me ask you a question. What
Mm-hmm.
about Little Shop of Horrors?
Musical.
See, but it's funny though.
It is funny.
But it's more
Musical.
music. See, that's
It's
what
a
I was. I
musical.
had a ton of questions about because there's a lot of movies that could have made this list that just are musicals, but they are funny, like the Blues Brothers. Funny,
Yes.
but a musical.
Hilarious musical.
Yes, Cry Baby with Johnny Depp. Oh, that's 90, so but
Yeah.
it's not pre. It could have been. It was in planning. They had the planet before 1990. You just released it.
I mean,
It's just
accurate.
a lot, a lot that was like I was stuck on. Like, man, it's more this than that. But I don't remember the movie because of the action parts or the musical parts. I remember it because of the funny bits.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those that transcends almost its genre, kind of like Chicago. Like people love Chicago, they hate musicals because it's that good of a movie.
It is that good of a movie, and then
And the play is
Steve
that
Martin
good
is in
too.
it too. Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, I took the wife to see a live version of it, which she does not remember ever going to see. And at the time, I sold things that I dearly loved in order to buy the tickets to take her. And it's one of those things that's like a little stab in my heart. Like I'm never going to get over the fact that she has no memory of us going to see this show.
Bro, I have no memory of doing a lot of things.
I know, but this was something that I felt should be significant enough to
To
garner a
remember,
memory.
you might be right. I see I see your point.
All right. What is your number one?
Number one movie that I have fun comedy that I could laugh a million and one times to. Harlem Nights. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, and a crap ton of other hilarious comedians are in this movie. This movie is one of them, bro. It could just be a melanin thing, but this movie is fucking hilarious.
Certified amazing.
This movie is hilarious from start to finish.
Absolutely.
What's your number one?
Oh, you already know, bro. Blazing Saddles.
Ah, you put it at one.
It is my number one.
Oh man, I knew it was gonna be up there. I knew it as soon as I had to put it on mine. The other ones I put on, like I said, is all 1 through 10 could have been one. It's just basically 10 ones.
Yeah, like sorting out the order was probably the hardest part of doing this. Like I had the 10. I had the 10 in the short list for when we were doing all time. But
I don't know if I could.
The ordering part is the hardest part.
You're gonna have to give me a month.
And Blazing Saddles is
Blazing Saddles is amazing.
It is Blazing Saddles. It's
well, a white woman.
Honestly, and this is spoiler alert for when we do all time. It's my number one of all time. Movie is hilarious. There is nothing that I can put on that will dependably make me laugh as hard as Blazing Saddles.
Number one all time of comedy or number one all time movie? Period.
Comedy.
Okay, yeah, because
comedy, not movie. Period. That goes to something else. And that other movie would be top if we were including action comedies.
Okay. See, if I looking at this list now, if we change it to after 1990, this list will drastically change.
All right, so that is the top 10 comedies from before 1990s. Any last words?
No, I think we did our best to make this list as
Did
best as we could,
our
even though we
best.
excluded a lot.
Guys, it's hard. This is hard.
Very.
Such a hard list to actually make. The amount of things that just got cut just hurts my heart. That's why we should have done a top 20.
We should have done a top 20, but even then it would be a bunch from maybe not. Maybe there would be because I didn't this outro's going to go on for another 20. Don't get me started.
Go ahead.
But yeah. Nah, because Abbott and Costello was not said.
True.
But that's a group, and because they could be like 50 of their movies could be on this list because of how hilarious they are,
Agreed.
and a ton of other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we did the best we could with the list we got. Stay tuned for the next one.
See you guys next time.
Bye.